We just had our first day of practice for the Migrant Liberation Movement Suite.
Give back when the hands are many to the many.
This whole process of putting dance and spoken word and whole libretto into music, it's been a beautiful, beautiful experience.
To work with live musicians is really my dream artistic project, because there is a synergy with live music and dance that occurs in the creative process. So we are very heavily invested right now in the creative building process.
The piece is actually inspired by a few different sources. One is a tradition of revolutionary jazz operas that really came into existence in the late 70s, early 80s. And the concept of the piece is we are responding to this crisis of the climate, this crisis of the destruction of economies, destruction of ecologies, that we feel is really driving the mass migration movements in this world right now.
So the story about migration is not a story that concerns humans only. It's animals migrate and insects have to migrate because of climate change as well. So we're pushing nature outside of nature.
We were thinking, what does it mean to have a migrant liberation movement? How could a group that's kind of thought of as nomadic and perhaps stateless really be free? And we kind of concluded that if the forces that were destroying homelands and ecologies weren't addressed, there really can't be freedom, not only for migrants, but for anyone. So we tried to put that kind of foundation in place for how we would approach this libretto. We began interviewing folks who were based in Syria and Mexico and North Africa. We started to realize that really the answers for addressing inequality and climate change and all the problems of capitalism can be found in those cultures and in those communities and in the knowledge and wisdom that folks have been practicing for thousands and thousands of years.
Give back when the hands are many to the many.
So we sort of combined these interviews with a really avant-garde kind of aesthetic, lots of horns, kind of a jazz big band format, but also non-Western instruments from China, from Kazakhstan.
Like the pipa, to me it's the first time that I get to explore with somebody that plays pipa in jazz. The integration of different disciplines and elements and cultures, it's what we need. Because we cannot be exclusive. We have to be inclusive, and that reflects in the music we produce.
The approach to the choreography is based on my work over the past two decades in Afro-Asian fusion. So in terms of martial arts, the Asian traditions of Tai Chi Chuan, Wushu, or Changchuan are forms that I've studied and integrate into my dance. And I try to find the intersections with Brazilian martial arts such as capoeira. And this is what interests me in finding fusion and transformation through the interconnections between these multiple cultures over many, many years of practice.
So we sort of started to bridge all these worlds, and we found a kind of unique sound and a unique suite, and that's the Migrant Liberation Movement Suite. So that's the project.